Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people around the world, we got our tier list, and it is a power ranking at the same time. This is what we do every single week.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
This is going to be tough because there's teams like the Giants that are 4-1, and then there's some other like good teams that lost, and there were some comebacks that happened, and it just probably going to make us question a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's one thing I'm not questioning.
Yeah,
though.
me neither.
Yeah, let's start it off.
Start with like an S,
S.
and end with Tealers.
No, I was gonna say a Anthers.
I thought you were going to say starts with S and ends with uality.
Let's fill out some bottom tier.
Yeah. 32.
How about that? Let's do it a little
Let's
bit
get the
different this week.
Panthers.
There you
let's get
go.
the Steelers.
And
Texans.
Let's get the football team. Well,
Texans.
Texans.
Well, they won though.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't
they
matter.
did. They beat the Giants.
That's
doesn't
why it gets
matter.
tough.
It does not
They're
matter.
bad.
How about Washington?
Yeah.
I don't like Seattle, personally. I don't
Yeah,
know
but
if they
they've
should be
actually been
bottom
playing
tier.
like. Yeah, they probably might be. All right.
Commanders. Rivera already said he doesn't like the QB. They're
Okay.
like, what's the problem? He said quarterback.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so we only have one more spot to fill out in 32.
Bears.
I think Bears.
Bears. They
Bears.
almost beat the Vikings. Like legitimately,
Divisional
if dude didn't get
game.
stripped,
Divisional-
if that dude didn't get stripped,
Divisional game, dude.
bro, you gotta give them
Bears.
some credit. I mean, they
So you're gonna
beat
give
the.
them a whole
Well, who else
other
do we
jump
put?
up of
Who
a
else
tier.
would you
that's
put?
why I wanna
there?
look.
The
Let me
Colts?
look. Let me look.
The Colts is the only thing I can
The
think
Colts
of.
beat the Broncos.
You know what a team that
Colts
a
and
lot of
Broncos
people
should
have
be
at the
both down
bottom
there.
is the Raiders.
The Raiders.
A lot of people have the Raiders.
They played a
bottom.
good game yesterday. I'm not going to do that.
I
against the
can't do that
Chiefs.
even though they're 1-4.
A lot of people
I
have
can't
the
do
That's
that.
'cause of the
Broncos
rec ball.
not so far off from the bottom.
I understand that.
I mean, I probably at this point have the Broncos at 23-27. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Where do you have
way
the
that they've been
Raiders
playing.
at?
The Raiders.
Yeah.
I still have the maybe the same 18 to 22. The
18
highest.
to yeah. That's
We'll see
exactly
where
how
we'll
I
see where
feel.
we're at.
Okay, well, let's.
What about the
look-
Lions? They got shut out.
Yeah, that wasn't good. That actually should put them in contention.
Well,
They-
let's
they
keep.
don't win games.
Let's look at Seattle for a second. Okay, so what happened with the
They
Seahawks?
put up points 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably the highest scoring team, which we know is
It would have been
not
the
exact-
Lions, but they got
Yeah.
shut out.
Yeah, we
Right.
know that's not exactly the best recipe with what the Lions did. Like
No.
it doesn't necessarily scoring a ton of points and having a terrible defense does not result in getting wins.
They're also giving up a ton of points as well.
Where
So-
did we have Seattle in 23-27 last week, Joe? Where do we have
We
them?
had them 23 to 27.
23-27.
They almost beat the. I feel like I can. I think we should put them there still.
Let's put
Right
them there
now.
for right now.
Yeah.
For right now.
Okay.
There's no one that jumps off the page for that 32 spot.
Bills.
Number one.
Okay, so this is number one.
Huh?
Does anybody
You
here?
think it's number one actually? Legit?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
I
still got
think
the
they
Eagles.
are.
I still got the
I
Eagles.
still think they are
Until
the
the
best
Eagles
team.
lose, they're not losing
But
by
yeah,
one
how
spot.
are you going to count out you of all people? You.
Well, you said you like the Chiefs better than the
I
Eagles.
do, and I like the Bills better than the Eagles.
So why
but
wouldn't you have
Eagles,
the Chiefs at number one?
Because the Bills have lost, and the Eagles have done everything that they needed to do.
Yeah, but record doesn't, because like with the Giants, the record doesn't prove. I mean, it does say something, but it doesn't say everything.
You're right, but they're a good team to me, and they haven't lost.
It's just
So.
like what have the Eagles done wrong all season?
They haven't done anything wrong, but they haven't beat more impressive teams than the Bills.
You're
have.
right, but that's not their fault. I
They're-
think if they lose to the Cowboys, obviously they go down.
But they don't have the number one defense holding only 61 points. Like,
I kind
But
of
they
look
have
at
a
it.
really good defense.
I
though.
kind of
yeah, but they don't have a better
yeah.
defense.
I kind of look at it as like punishing them for something that they didn't do.
It's not because number two is not punishing, or number three.
We had
But
the
at
Eagles
this
at number
point,
one
if
last
I
week.
put the Buffalo Bills
Yeah.
first, I'm
And
putting
they
the
won.
Chiefs
So how are we
second.
gonna?
Well, no. Here's the thing: they barely won. The Bills won.
I know, but
they
when the Eagles-
they had a Cardinals missed field goal where overtime would have went either way.
I don't
the
care about
Bills.
that.
The Bills
Against
was
the Steelers, I don't care.
okay, but let's say it wasn't the Steelers.
I do think the Bills are a better team.
I agree with that.
Then the Eagles.
But I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Bills over the Eagles like 8 out of 10 times.
Me too, but I just have such a tough time not.
That's
giving
fine.
Eagles
We had
respect.
Eagles at number one last week. It's just like
I think Eagles and Bills are really close to me, and the Eagles are undefeated, so I can't put.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm.
But you like the Bills better than the Eagles.
I do. Yeah, so
So
I like the
that's-
Chiefs
I
better.
But
question
how do you
that.
not have the number one
that's
then?
what I'm saying.
Because
like, if you
I
like them
can't-
better, like regardless of record, like this is a power
Because
ranking.
that's
It's not.
huge. That's and they're at the top right now.
Yeah, but
if you look at the record, they're the best team.
5. If you look at what?
I said if you look at the record, they're the best team, and that's a huge
Are
part.
you confidently picking Eagles over Cowboys this week?
No, I'm not. But again, I can't fault them for something that
I
they
wouldn't
didn't do wrong
confidently
yet.
pick the Bills and Cowboys. I wouldn't confidently pick that one.
I'm not
either.
confidently picking the Chiefs and Bills.
Oh, no one is.
Exactly. So like,
I'm picking the Bills pretty confidently.
is it because like the whole revenge thing?
That has something to do with it, yeah.
Okay.
But last year in the playoffs was revenge, and they couldn't do it because Pat Mahomes is a new animal.
That game came down. That game literally changes the rules. That game's like a whole nother level.
It did.
Bills and Cowboys, I'm picking Bills. Eagles and Cowboys, it's tough.
I like the Eagles defense a lot still. I mean,
But
I don't know.
statistically, if we're doing statistics, the Bills are better.
Yeah, I don't just look at stats though. You're right. I mean, but
I mean, at the end of the day, the Eagles did win. If you
it's
wanna
just
put them
because the
at number
Eagles are
one-
undefeated.
I won't
And
be mad
record's
about either
not
one.
everything, but these two teams are so close to me that I have the Eagles ahead just because of
Yeah.
their record.
I won't be mad about either one. I just had to get that out there because that's kind of how I feel, and I'm sure that's how a lot of other people feel.
I have Bills 1, Eagles.
Yeah.
Actually, I have Eagles 3, but
And if it wasn't for the
Sorry.
Chiefs losing to the Colts, I would have the Chiefs higher than the Bills.
yeah, they'd be undefeated.
have the Chiefs higher than the Bills.
If it wasn't for that Colts game, because Pat Mahomes is just
I don't know how they lost that game.
I don't either. Well, it was kind of fluky, but still they
Yeah.
lost. But
Yeah, I don't know. I have Bills at number one, but I'm not mad if you put the Eagles at number one and keep them there again. It was just more going off of a lot more going off of what happened this past week. The Bills looked way more impressive.
I know.
Because the
And
Cardinals,
the Cardinals haven't even played good all season.
You're right.
Until that game versus the Eagles also.
that's why for the Eagles to not perform so well against the Cardinals, I put the Bills, who were
But they
supposed to
didn't
shut out. They were supposed to shut out the Steelers. They did.
Well, we got 3 points, dude.
Oh yeah, true. As opposed to the Eagles, where if they are that 5-0 undefeated, unbeatable team, they should have easily handled the Cardinals, where they didn't. That's
not
why
mad
the
about either
Bills
spot.
the Bills are number one.
I don't
Like,
care.
on a whole
We
nother
could put
level,
them-
in my
we could
opinion.
put them at 1. It's fine. I don't like it, but we could do it.
The Colts, man, I have them
So who did
28.
oh yeah, that was the worst game ever.
Yeah.
Uh,
they won somehow.
Where were they last week?
23-27.
I don't know. Both of those teams, in my opinion, are like lower tiers.
I even question putting them in that bottom tier one, man, because of that game. That game was wow.
That game sucked.
But they won.
Yeah, but they beat the Broncos though, so you kind of.
I
You're gonna put the
I don't care
Broncos there
who won.
anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, that game.
I'm gonna say the Colts default have to go.
But here's the
23
thing: the
to
Broncos
27.
beat the 49ers, so that's an impressive win. The Colts beat the Chiefs.
Right.
Yeah.
The Chiefs. The Colts got to be in 23 to 27.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Unless if you want to bump one of those other teams up below them, above the Colts.
Yeah, no. All right, 49ers.
49ers.
I think they're a good team, man.
I do
I
too.
have the 49ers at number 4.
We had them at 7 last week.
4. Who do I have above that?
I think the highest you guys would probably have them is 5. I think
kinda
5
what
is a pretty
high.
fair spot.
That's kind of
Yeah, because I have Eagles, Bills,
You have
Chiefs.
Cowboys.
Chiefs,
Cowboys.
and Cowboys.
yeah.
Put them at 5. That's fair. Or go ahead, TJ. Speak your mind.
I'd have them at 7, I think.
Yeah, but you have the Buccaneers higher than them, which is ludicrous.
you could say that, but
And not even the rapper one.
All right, yeah.
Oh
Broncos,
my
23-27 or 28-32.
where were they? Where were they
Man,
last
this
time?
is tough.
This is gonna be the biggest dump off. They were 13-17.
Yeah, 23, 27.
Wait a minute, 23 is 27.
Because they just beat the 49ers when we did it last
They
time.
they do have a pretty
Maybe
capable defense.
Or no, they lost to the Raiders when we did this last time. Yeah, but that offense is just wow.
Oh, I
You know
know.
what I mean?
Oh, trust me, I know. I think everybody knows. You don't got to say anything. Everybody knows.
Bengals.
I think the
This was
Bengals.
a tough one to me. We had them at 9 last week.
To be fair, I would have the Bengals probably around 10, but I know you don't care for the Bengals as much.
They're in
Joe.
my.
They did lose.
I think they're in my 11 to 12.
My problem is, and I talked about it before, Joe Burrow has not, -1 game, hasn't looked overly impressive. Like, I think there's this little hump that he still has to surpass, like, to really become elite. I thought he was there already. I'm going to say I was kind of wrong.
He
on
holds
that.
on to the ball too long, which is something he needs to learn. But
So he struggled to hit his receivers.
even his
downfield a
coach
little
said,
bit.
like, the sacks aren't on the offense. He even said, like, Joe Burrow just holds on to it too long sometimes,
Yeah.
which is true.
But with that said, they had a
They
close
have no
game
run
versus their-
game.
Yeah, their run game was non-existent. There was a lot of pressure on him, and he was also doing it without T. Higgins. T. Higgins was out, which does not help. Like, T. Higgins is pretty great whenever he's in. I think fair. I would probably have him 11 to 12.
That's where I have him.
Personally,
That's where I have him.
I would 13 maybe. I just want to see what other teams you guys would have ahead of them. Again,
yeah, they would have cracked my top 10 had they won that game because I really like the Ravens, but they didn't.
It was a close game.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I would say the Ravens did outplay them, but it was a close game. Like the Ravens still they had a fairly sloppy game at points also.
That's what I'm saying. They should have had more points, more missed some of those touchdown passes, but
I don't know. I think 11 to 12.
That's where I
I
have him.
think that'd be pretty fair. 'Cause I would have him at 10. I think Logan would probably have him at would you have him at like 10 also?
I had him
Logan?
at 10.
Yeah.
Which isn't too far off.
Vikings a 4
we
and
had
1
them
team.
at 10.
They're not going to be lower.
This
than
is a
10.
hard no. I
I
can't.
kind of like him.
9 or 10. I don't know. I still like the Vikings, but man, some of these games
Okay.
are so close. Their defense is what keeps me from
Vikings or Buccaneers.
Vikings.
Vikings.
I would take Vikings also.
Because I like their offense a lot
That's-
more.
That's what I was
Bucks.
saying.
Huge. I would take Buccaneers. I would take Vikings. I'm trying to think of some other comparable teams here.
I would put them in
Cowboys.
9, I think.
I would take Cowboys over Vikings right now.
I would too.
I would definitely.
I'd
yes.
take Cowboys.
Yes.
Chargers.
Chargers
I
is a
have
good
Chargers
one.
at 12.
I have Vikings at 7.
Chargers and Vikings are very comparable to me.
That's a tough
right
one.
now. That's a tough one for me.
Same thing.
I would probably have the Chargers, but I wouldn't even fight for it because the Vikings are 4 and 1 right now, and the Chargers are 3 and 2. So I wouldn't even argue it, but I kind of have those two teams in the same category. I think Vikings. Let's throw Vikings in at 9.
I have them at 7.
You have them at 7.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay.
Dang.
I mean,
eight.
Well, maybe.
I was gonna say, I don't know. That might not
maybe
be.
That might not be
Eight's
crazy.
not.
Because
I
we
think that
got to consider the Buccaneers. We got to consider
Dang, wait, go back up to our list.
Packers.
See, the 49ers being there throws everything off for me.
I don't think it does.
That's-
that is like a.
Because I have the Cowboys ahead of them. And it's like, I also.
Cowboys
They're
would be
going at 4.
Yeah, but I also have the Ravens ahead of them.
But, dog.
That's why the
Why?
49ers at
What?
8 makes sense to me.
Bro,
It's
the
like,
Ravens have lost 2 out of their last 3 games. And they squeaked by with a game-winning field goal versus the Bengals.
again, though, I think they're a better team. Like Lamar,
Really?
Lamar's just playing on a whole
I mean, if you want to
different level.
literally break down the team, I don't think it's even not close. Actually, I mean, not saying the Ravens team is bad, but if you want to break down player by player,
Right, no, I get what you're saying. I just like the Ravens and 49ers go hand in hand with me. And I do have the Ravens better than them. But if the Ravens were number 6 on this list, I wouldn't be upset.
you're climbing that ladder with them Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, I'm climbing.
You're climbing, and that ladder is not stopping.
But Vikings, man, it's either 8 or 7 for me.
Should we put them at 8 right
8.
now?
Do it.
Sure.
Because then the Bucks I have higher than them. Whoa.
I just don't know
don't get
why.
how.
Yeah, what have the Bucks done? I don't.
Is it just because they have Tom Brady?
I mean, that's a big part of it, but no. Fournette looks so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
this
looked
last
so
weekend,
good.
he did. But
I don't think so, really.
I don't remember.
What
him doing
did he
anything
have this
spectacular.
week?
There's been a
What did
couple
he
games
have?
where he
What
has.
did he
There's
rush for?
has been
He
some
had
games where he has
passing touch. He did a lot of catching this week.
He did. Have
receiving.
10. He had 10 catches.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing that. Why is he getting 10 catches if you have Julio Jones,
know.
Chris Godwin,
Jones
Mike
is out.
Well,
Evans?
because
Who's
Brady
out?
does love just dumping him off to his running backs. He did it with James White those few years. I mean, he does do that. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
I don't know.
But
Buccaneers
he's never
should've
had a
lost.
wide receiver core
Yeah, I know.
in New England like he does here.
I know.
I'll put him at 10.
So they have things to work on, but again, they are
I mean, look what happened with
Positive.
that Chiefs game, dude. That wasn't even close. The score was closer than it looked.
Yeah, but
Fournette
the
had negative
Chiefs-
3 yards and then just had a
Yeah,
pass.
well,
the whole game.
I'm waiting for that game where they look impressive. The Saints game was so sloppy until Lattimore and Evans got kicked out. Then they
Yeah.
that was the spark that the Buccaneers took.
I'll go 10.
I'll give him 10.
I have him at. Where do you have him, Joe?
You have him at 6, huh?
or
just
7.
missed
No, I'm at 7.
Oh,
I mean,
10 or 11 to 12. I gotta see what else we do here.
I
So
have
that'd
them
be
above.
10.
I have them above the Rams.
Me too. The
definitely.
Rams.
yeah,
are-
Rams
the
are
I
nothing.
think Rams should be 13 to 17, which is
Yeah.
a dump off actually because we had them in 11
We had
to
them.
12.
No, we had them 13 to 17.
Oh wow.
last week,
Okay.
too.
Hey, go us. Go us.
I
Good
was
job,
gonna say
boys.
Rams or not.
Yeah.
Good job, boys. I think
Stafford
they should stay
is
there.
just
Yeah.
again one guaranteed interception
Dude.
a game.
These like older veteran quarterbacks, Stafford, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
they're just falling apart. They're deteriorating.
Yeah, what
It
happened?
looks like.
Because the past couple of years,
I was
these
expecting-
guys won Super Bowls when they went to a new
I
team,
was gonna say I expected all these
which
guys
is why
to
I
do
was so
good.
high on Russell Wilson still. And
Yeah.
dude stinks.
Hey, it works until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Is that here that it doesn't? I guess.
Yeah, I think keeping them in 13 to 17. They're now like they might have been like on our higher end, like closer to 13, 14.
Yeah.
Now to me, they're gonna drop down like a couple ranks, maybe
Yeah.
like 15, 16, maybe. Just not
Chargers.
great.
Chargers, I still have 11 to 12.
I have 11,
I have
12.
12.
This is where we had them
Also.
last
Yeah.
week. I just that one.
I would have them at 9, but sure, that's cool.
11,
no,
12.
no arguing really.
Dang the Jets,
Um,
dude. That's a crazy one.
I said the thing I like about the Chargers though, their offense stepped up and they finally established a run
So
game
is
with
Keenan
Austin.
Allen playing yet or no? Was he playing?
No, it's all Mike Williams.
Which he's doing it.
off.
And
He,
Mike
like I said, his
Williams-
jump ball is insane, dude. You toss it up,
Three-
he's like almost guaranteed to catch it. really.
3 in that
Yeah.
game. 3 jump balls.
It is really
It's
impressive.
good. But yeah, I am very impressed with Mike
Their
Williams.
defense just like they're giving up points still. It's just
Right.
which they are injured. But
yeah, not having Joey Bosa there. Is,
J.C. Jackson hasn't impressed me all that much.
No, honestly, their secondary has been disappointing,
Yeah.
and I expected them to have the best secondary in the
I
NFL.
expected them to have the best defense.
But yeah, that part's been underperforming a bit. Yeah, you could keep them.
Jets, we had 23 to 27. I say they stay there.
I think they bump up 18-22.
I said they scored 40 points on the Dolphins.
And 21 of those were unanswered.
I guess the Dolphins' defense, isn't that great. Maybe.
No, the Dolphins are just falling apart without Tua, which
Yeah.
is just crazy.
Yeah, but 40 points against that defense. Oh my!
And
gosh.
Brees Hall went crazy. Friggin'
That's just-
they played some ball.
I can't
Who
believe.
do they
these-
play next week? The Jets.
I don't know.
I really want to see them play like a decent team and see what they do.
They played the Steelers, actually. Yeah, they beat
Yeah,
the
I'd
Steelers.
stick with what I said.
They play the Packers.
almost won.
They play the Packers.
Okay, if they whoop the Packers, I'll be like, all right.
Yeah,
There's something.
that'll be live.
But right now, I think it's fluke. I do.
I do
really
too.
do.
I
I'm not
don't.
too big on the Jets yet.
But like,
either.
I was gonna say the Jets were a team. I feel like people are gonna jump on the hype train after that rookie draft they had because their rookie draft was really
And
good.
Sauce
I
finally
think
had
a
his
lot of
first
people
pick,
thought-
right?
That's what
Granted,
I
it
was
was
about to
against
say.
the third string guy.
Garrett
but
Wilson's been performing. Brees Hall's actually been performing. Like these guys are actually starting to do well. I mean, I think that's why they are where they are right now. And they started the season with a backup Joe Flacco and like still have
now
a
they
3-2 record.
I mean, the Dolphins might come last in that division right now. Who knows?
I also think it's a fluke as well. To have it 22, I wouldn't really argue it too
Me either. I
much.
think we have to.
But you can't put the Dolphins ahead of them.
They won the last 2 games or 3 games.
2 games.
What was
I
that
think.
Browns game?
Dude, honestly, the Dolphins are going to be the biggest drop off that maybe we've had like all.
Yep.
Probably that we're gonna have
Yeah, the
all
Broncos
year.
are pretty close, but yeah, you're probably right.
we had them at number. What you guys
We
have
had
at number 4
Broncos
last
13
week?
to 17.
Let's
Oh,
put the
Dolphins,
Jets. Let's put the
yeah.
Jets in the lower end, 18 to 22.
Yeah.
Let's bump them. Give them a little
That's
bit of respect.
crazy. I mean, I don't
That's why-
disagree. but
that's why this-
crazy.
That's why this sucks.
Jaguars. They fell. Man, they're falling off. They are looking.
They're back to getting
Worse.
turnovers
That-
again, like last year.
Yeah, that Eagles game really just brought them back to reality.
What did you have them last week?
We had them 13 to 17. I think they drop off again.
They have to. I mean, I am trying to think about it right
23
now.
to 27.
Okay, let me ask you
Man,
guys
is that too
this.
much?
I think I know my answer.
That's
Do you
kind of
guys?
what I want.
Do you guys like the Lions or the Jaguars better?
I still like the Jaguars better just because of their defense.
I
like the
agree.
Jaguars.
I kind of think
agree.
they both should be in the same caliber, if
They-
not the Lions be in the bottom tier.
Because like the Lions were putting up points, but they just got shut out. Also, so it's like
I like genuinely right now. What I'm thinking is the Lions actually might be down to 28 to 32,
I think so too.
and I think the Jaguars would be in 20.
I mean, we had the Lions 23 to 27. So
I agree with
I
that.
have both of them in 23-27.
both.
Jaguar. I think Jaguars and Lions are like this.
Who
like
do you have?
Okay,
in-
but then who's the bottom team?
yeah.
Bears?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
It can't be.
What
What,
is-
they've won
sure.
one game?
The 49ers.
No,
Did they
two.
beat?
Two.
Who else did
Yeah.
they beat?
yeah, they.
Oh, yeah, they beat the Texans.
Which
that was.
is also in the bottom
I would be
tier.
okay with
But like
I
they haven't
can't-
been getting blown out. Like the Lions just got blown out.
Right.
Blown out.
You're right.
The
but the
Bears
Lions-
are competing.
The Lions, again, have one of the highest scoring offenses.
Well,
They
they
just
got
put up
shut
0
out.
points. That's what doesn't make
I
sense.
know.
That's what was weird. Yeah. Like,
Now that and they still gave up 29
Exactly.
points also.
Yeah.
I would vote Lions.
To a
28.
third-string quarterback.
I'm gonna vote Lions.
Okay, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
What, you vote Lions?
To be
28
the
to
bottom.
32.
I mean, over the Bears?
But the Bears,
The Bears-
have been competing, and
I
they've
said the
won
Bears have
2
been
games.
competing. They won 2 games. They literally gave themselves a chance to beat the 4-1 Vikings. Well, now 4-1 Vikings.
Dang, dude.
I mean, if we're going week by week, like week by week has to matter a little bit. I like to look at the whole season throughout. But whenever 2 teams are close and one team loses 22 to 29 in a close game and the other team gets blown out 29-0,
Yeah.
I don't know. And they're like, does anybody have a worse defense in the NFL than the Lions?
It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Detroit's 1-4, and Chicago's 2-3. I mean,
I'd almost argue that Lions and Chicago
Yeah,
go
plus they're 1-4 also.
Lions and Chicago go 28-32, and the Steelers bump up one.
no, we are not bumping up the Steelers. There's no reason why we do that. Come on. What reason do you have to bump the Steelers up?
You don't think the Steelers could beat the Lions or the Bears?
I don't.
You don't think the Lions or Bears could beat the Steelers?
I was gonna
Right?
say.
I know it's not a gimme, but I like those teams better than
I
Or worse than the
refuse.
If I
Steelers.
bumped one team up, it would probably be Washington.
Yeah, the Steelers do not deserve whatsoever to get bumped up.
No, I think the Bears need to be 23-27. Yeah, I think the Lions need to be 28-32.
I agree.
I'm fine with that.
So where do the Bears go?
23-27.
Along with the Jags. I'd put the Jags there too.
Crazy at all. I mean,
Oh, Chicago sucks, dude. We say it. Justin
mean,
Fields.
we do
Chicago's
say
2-3, and they competed
Chicago-
every week.
Justin Fields' highest passing game this season was 208 yards.
Yeah, but what's the least amount of yards the Lions have given up all season so far? Like, you could just like pick apart different things.
Yeah,
Like,
the Lions were down the whole game, and Jared Goff threw 12 times.
Neither
only?
of these teams are good.
I know that's a
I mean,
thing.
yeah, I'm
Neither of them
not
are good.
saying that. I'm not saying the Bears are good by any means. I did think they were going to be one of the worst teams, like
Yeah.
either the worst or second worst behind Houston. They're playing better. They have one more win than the Lions, and just looking off of what happened in Week 5, they had a close game versus the Vikings, whereas the Lions got crushed by a third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
And their defense is like legitimately on average letting up like 30 points a game, no matter who they play. Seattle put up how many points? Almost 50
48 or
whatever.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just
like it's crazy to me to have the Broncos and the Bears in the same category.
yeah, but
The
look
Bears
how
might even look better than the Broncos do. I mean, the Broncos.
It's
stink.
weird. It's weird.
I don't know.
I agree with you in the fact that I still think the Bears stink.
So do I.
But there comes a point where you have to give them like a little bit of respect.
This is just who stinks more.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have the Jets in 18-22, even though we might think that they're also frauds.
Yeah.
I kind of
think
do.
they do. I think they are.
That's why like like if you look at Lions and Bears, I have Lions winning that game.
That's a toss-up to me. I don't know.
It's
I would
me.
pick Bears in that game.
I might too. I
That's
don't
a
know.
I mean, and we're going to see it happen twice. It's a division match.
But then
I mean,
again,
they'd probably split,
If you
but
throw the Steelers into that mix, I'm picking the Steelers.
I'm not.
I'm not picking the Steelers one more time. I don't care who they
I'm
play.
not.
So
I'm
like
not
Jaguars go 23-27.
Yeah.
We can move that.
I would do that.
And then if you put the Lions in the bottom, then we got to figure out did the Bears go 23-27?
I think you're the only one that disagrees with Bears not in 23-27.
I think if anything, it should be the Bears or Washington that are in 23-27.
I think it
I
should be the
still, I
Bears.
still like this. I like the Steelers better than those teams
Why, dude?
because their
Why?
offense shows potential.
Dog, we put up 3 mother freaking
Yeah.
points.
Okay, but again, it's the Bills.
We've had one of the worst offenses.
We lost to
in
the Jets.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh.
But like
Okay.
now
We're gonna
Kenny's
say-
in. We've seen George Pickens start to do good. Deontay would have had some
well, here's the
awesome yards
thing.
if he would have
I
had his
need
feet
to
in.
See it happen. Potential and see
Kenny
it
had 327 passing yards last game.
Garbage,
Garbage.
Okay, but
You
he
want to
still
talk about
had 'em.
offenses having potential? At least the Chicago Bears have a run game. They've run for so many yards this year. We can't get a run over 5 yards.
Yeah, I know. I
And I know
don't
Justin
disagree
Fields
with
isn't
that.
thrown for a million passing
realize
yards.
the Steelers are probably going to be like 1-8 by like our schedule coming up.
Yeah,
is
we're
insane.
finna get smacked. Like
Yeah, but that's looking into the feet.
Don't just look at the passing yards of Justin Fields. Look what the Cowboys are doing with Cooper Rush. He's not thrown for any passing yards.
right.
Like,
They're
at
playing.
all.
They're playing mistake-free football, and that's why they're winning.
And the Steelers have like one of the worst defenses in the league right now. Also, the secondary is awful.
But with
TJ Watt's not coming
I
back
know,
either till like
I
after the
know.
bye week.
I was gonna say with TJ Watt or not, but he's not in there.
I'm just so surprised, like, because last week you were so quick to put them in 28-32, and then we just lost by like 30 points. In that,
I wasn't here last week.
for the power ranking.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay, well that makes more sense now. That makes more sense.
All right, so we could definitely put the Lions in 28-32, right? We all agree on that.
I
TJ
don't.
doesn't,
I have them
but 2 out of 3.
22-27.
If,
but
and then if we're gonna have 3 people, we just got
Bears go there.
Okay.
that's crazy.
All right, Ravens is 1. I think that everyone's kind of all over the place on the Ravens.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to come to a consensus here with the Baltimore Ravens.
They're good.
I have them 6 or 7 here,
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
based on what we have left and got going here.
I think
I have
I'd
them
put
6.
them 6.
I have them 6.
Actually, man. Okay, I would have them 4, but I know they're gonna end up in 6.
And all right,
Well, which one of these bottom teams do you like more than the Ravens?
then the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Not including the Cowboys or Eagles or
not
Chiefs, because we already know where we're
Cowboys,
putting them.
Eagles, Chiefs. Well, it's not. That's not the issue. Well, okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
We could adjust as we go for like this team doesn't
It
belong in the
wasn't.
top 10.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not. I mean, just like
do the-
think about the Vikings, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, but I don't know.
Do the Cowboys and the Chiefs right now. Too,
I'm not
'cause we know where
super.
they're at.
I'm not opposed to that. That's actually
And the
pretty
Eagles.
good. That's a pretty good spot. We're all well.
Do.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys at 4, for sure. That's where they need to be.
I agree.
Eagles. So where are we putting
I-
Eagles? 2 or 3 here?
I have them at 3.
I think they have to be at 2.
I have them at 2.
See, with this though, I honestly wouldn't be opposed to putting the Chiefs at 2. I kind of do agree with TJ with that. I'm fine with.
But
them
like the
being
other
at
thing
2.
is though, the Chiefs just got away with a win last.
So
last
did the
night.
Eagles
Yeah, I know, but like if
against the worst team.
what
But look at what the Chiefs.
let me just
Chiefs
show.
turned it
No,
on,
let me-
man.
They did, but like they won by 1 point.
Okay.
The
So
Eagles
I
They
were
were
look
down
like-
by 17.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you got to think of the whole game as a whole. I want you to tell me because I can give you an answer for what the Bills did that would bump them over the Eagles, an undefeated Eagles team. What did the Chiefs do having one less win than the
But
Eagles
why is-
that would bump them over the Eagles?
I don't understand why record is a factor of it.
I'm not. That's why I have the Bills at number
Well,
1. But
you were
like,
saying
The only thing that
but the Bills had that. What was the final score of the Steelers game? Whatever, it doesn't matter. An
30
absolute
something, 30.
freaking blowout of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which helped me confirm like the Chiefs, sure, like been playing really good right now. The Eagles, who we had, did we have them at 1?
Mm-hmm.
Who we had at 1, they both like barely won. What was more impressive with the Chiefs, because they both kind of won in a similar fashion, that makes you bump them over the team that is undefeated? Like at some point, like
they were down 17 points and still were able to come out around and win.
the biggest thing for
but
me,
they got down 17 points. So like, shouldn't that say
And
something?
the thing with
in
the
itself?
Chiefs is I trust Mahomes. I think he has like 1 turnover this whole season, where Josh Allen has at least 1 a game almost.
the
Minus
biggest
the Ravens game.
the
which he
biggest
shoulda had
thing
1.
for me is just how quickly they could score. Like we mentioned, how they literally scored with 17 seconds.
I
Also,
trust Pat Mahomes more.
that freaking that call where Chris Jones sacked Derek Carr and they called it, what was it, roughing the passer?
Yeah,
Where it changed the whole game around.
And also, when the Raiders were going down the field, I don't know how they missed a holding call where it was like 3rd and 1. There should have been a holding call, and the Raiders should have got pushed back. It was so blatantly obvious, and they didn't call it. The refs almost gave the Raiders that.
suck!
We heard there was booing for literally the entire game, and they were only booing the refs. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
because of a team or anything.
Might as well get robots in there now.
So all 3 of you want to put the Chiefs at number 2.
No, I don't really
Yeah.
care.
I do. I like them at number 2. I like the Eagles at number 3.
They're all 3 of this team. I mean,
I'm just saying, I see where TJ is coming from. I do see where
I kind of see where he's coming from, but like the win that they had,
because I wanted the Eagles at 1 just because of the record. because they haven't done anything wrong.
I think you have a way better argument to put the Eagles at 1 than to put the Eagles at 3 and Chiefs over them.
The Raiders went for 2 because they knew in overtime they could not beat the Chiefs. The Cardinals went for a field goal because they knew in overtime.
That's 2 different teams making 2 different decisions right there.
But that's the truth. If they went to overtime with the Eagles and Cardinals, I think the Cardinals would have won that game.
Well, you think they would have won that, but like you're acting like the Eagles' offense has not been performing well this season. They have been playing good.
They also could have went for it. If they would have went for it, they would have said, okay, we can't beat the Eagles in overtime.
Completely different organizations making 2 different decisions.
The Raiders are very desperate right now.
I was gonna say if the Raiders, I bet a lot of money would have done the same thing if they were playing the Eagles.
Yeah,
I would argue that the Cardinals would have done the same thing if they were playing the Chiefs.
They wouldn't have been in the same situation as the thing.
Saying if they were in the same situation, you really don't think that both teams would have done the same thing? I think that's a more fair way to look at it. If the Cardinals were in that situation that they were with the Philadelphia Eagles, are they kicking a field goal again? I say yes.
What?
If the Cardinals are playing the Eagles and if the Cardinals are playing the Chiefs,
okay,
with scores the same thing, same situation as their game versus the Eagles.
But he's saying just swap out.
I think there's a more fair argument to say they would do the same thing versus the Chiefs than to compare.
Go for 2 to try to beat the Chiefs. That's what you're saying.
Right. I'm saying.
I think so too because the Chiefs are more lethal in overtime, whereas the Eagles aren't.
That's not what I'm saying. You're comparing 2 different organizations on making 2 different decisions. Like different coaching staffs, they just make different decisions. I think if you would switch the matchups off, both of those teams would have had a more likely chance to do what they did in their game.
I think the Chiefs are a better team than the Eagles. I think they beat the Eagles. I think they're number 2. I think the Eagles are number 3.
Why are they a better team?
Why are they a better team?
What makes them a better team?
Patrick Mahomes. Their defense is clicking. Their offense is clicking.
You know, Jalen Hurts is probably the MVP right now, right?
Yeah, you could say that. Vice versa. The Eagles' offense is clicking. Their defense is there.
Their defense is good. It's not just there.
Their defense is good. The teams that the Eagles have beat are less impressive than, I think, the Chiefs. And again, that Chiefs loss is like...
Yeah, but the Chiefs lost.
That's that thing with the Colts game where the Eagles are going to have their fluke game, but...
I can knock it down with putting the Eagles at 3 undefeated. Oh, my gosh. That is ridiculous.
But against the Lions...
Put them at number 1 and bump the Bills down? Oh, my gosh. There is no way we can have them at number 3.
Against the Lions, the Jaguars, the Commanders.
Again, what do you want them to do, though?
No, I know. I want them to win, but when they go against the 2-2 Cardinals who haven't looked good all season, it shouldn't have come down to a field goal.
I mean, you could also argue like the Chiefs coulda, shoulda, woulda lost to the Chargers hadn't their freaking coaching been awful again.
They did lose to the Colts, 100%.
Right. But then look at the calls that were missed, the calls that were made. They really screwed the Chiefs in that game. Like that Chris Jones thing would have turned that.
Yeah,
there would have been no coming
Travis
back.
Kelce said at the end that's what won them that game because that fired them up so much at halftime. Yeah. So like that could have been a blessing in disguise, right?
But again, you can't punish them for losing.
You can punish them for losing.
Or, punish them for winning.
But then why are you punishing the Eagles for winning?
Because what I said, the Raiders went for 2 because they knew they couldn't beat the Chiefs in overtime. The Eagles went for the field goal because they knew they could have beat the Eagles in overtime.
All right, I'm cutting you boys off. We're going down.
I disagree with that so heavy. The Cardinals would have made the same decision if they were playing the Eagles. And the Raiders would have made the same decision if they were playing the Chiefs.
The Raiders were playing the Chiefs.
If the Raiders were playing the Eagles, they would have made the same decision as they did that they made with the Chiefs.
Yeah, because they don't have a backup kicker.
So what are you arguing then? I don't
because
understand.
the Raiders can beat the Eagles in overtime, whereas they could not beat the Chiefs in overtime.
How do you
what
know
if scenarios?
I know.
How do you know
we should not be doing what if scenarios here.
That's what I'm saying.
What happened is what happened.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What happened is what happened.
No, but
you guys are saying, what if this team played this team and like...
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that. And the one team's eating a Pop-Tart and the other team's eating Cheerios. Like,
all I'm saying is this, and I want this to be clear. This is hard to deliver. This is hard to deliver. He is saying, okay, let's get this very clear, right?
Yeah.
He thinks the Raiders believe that because they were playing the Chiefs, they had to end the game right there and not allow it to go into overtime.
The Chiefs scored 5 touchdowns in a row.
Okay, now hear me out. Now hear me out. He is saying, and he is also saying that the Cardinals were more conservative and they kicked a field goal because they didn't think the Eagles were a threat in overtime. I think that's a load of BS. I believe, and I think it's more fair to say, if the Eagles were... What is so funny?
It's because it's a what-if scenario.
Yeah, but you're the one that brought it up.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
You're
I'm saying
bringing
what
it up.
happened.
No. Because
The
you
thing about
said...
the Eagles and Cardinals is like neither offenses were clicking out. It was what, 17-20?
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
no,
they're
but
gonna
But
kick a
you're
field goal.
saying... But the way that you're saying it, though, is so hypocritical. It is. Because you just believe that...
You don't believe that the Raiders didn't go for a field goal because they didn't think that the Chiefs would blow them out in overtime?
Yeah, but no, but you're also saying that the Cardinals, who are playing the Eagles,
Well,
like
the
the
thing about
Eagles
that-
are no threat in overtime. You're comparing two different
Well, no,
franchises.
the thing is, though, that game wasn't even going into overtime. There were still
Exactly.
like 2 minutes left. The
Yeah.
Chiefs were just going to get the ball back and probably go down anyway.
So if the
but who's
Raiders...
to say that, like, why is the Eagles not a threat to do that?
No, you're
they
right. I
are. I'm
agree.
not
If-
saying you guys are doing your own thing over there. I'm
Yeah.
just
If the Eagles and the Raiders were playing and the Eagles had 20 and the Raiders had 17, they had an opportunity to kick a field goal to take it to overtime. I think they would have kicked that field goal.
Right.
I don't think they would have went for a touchdown.
Right.
unless the Eagles scored
I think
on
it's the
5 possessions
situation.
on a row.
Yeah,
Depends how the
exactly.
offense. If your defense shows that they can't stop the other team, then that makes sense.
And that's what the Eagles
It's
or
situational. It's
Chiefs showed.
situational. I don't know if that really goes
Just
into
like the Chiefs
what they are.
and
though.
Raiders. If it was like a 10-13 game, I'm not concerned that they do go like be that aggressive.
Just the way that you're making it seem, though, is if the Eagles are in the situation that the Colts were in,
Colts?
or why do I keep freaking I don't know. The Chiefs
Eagles?
were in. That the
Oh.
Chiefs were in. That dang, you got me all fricked up. Bro. That the Raiders wouldn't. That you think the Raiders wouldn't have went for it if they were playing the Eagles if it was the same scenario?
They would have kicked the field goal.
You think the Raiders would have kicked the field goal if
Yeah.
it was versus the Eagles?
Yes.
and what?
That is so
and they're-
unfair to
what, are
say.
you
What
saying the
situation?
Eagles scored 5 possessions in a row?
Yes.
No.
Like they're like in the same situation.
No, I'm saying if it was 20-17, the game had been played the same way that the game had been played against the Cardinals, but it was the Raiders would have kicked the field goal and gone into overtime because the Eagles
That
did
is
not
a-
look.
That's what I'm saying. That is a load of
The way the
BS.
Cardinals looked was good, and the Eagles did not look great.
How
I'm so
can you
confused what
say
he's
that?
arguing anymore.
What I'm saying is, no matter what team, the Cardinals.
Listen, if a team is down by 3 and they have a good opportunity to kick a field goal to take it into overtime, they're going to do it. Unless that team scored 5 consecutive touchdowns and they were like, I need to end this.
Right.
But if the Cardinals were in the Raiders situation with the Chiefs, I think the Cardinals would have went for a touchdown also.
Right.
Because you
I
need
know.
to.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's just situational.
Yes,
I don't
but
think that
also
goes
what I'm
into
saying
it.
is, if they were also like playing the Eagles in the same situation,
Yeah.
like who is to say that both teams would make the same
Here's the
decision or
thing, the
not?
situation is any team scoring 5 times in a row, the other team's going to be aggressive because they're like, we can't stop them. We got to go for
Can
it.
we stop? Because the situation I want to be in 10 minutes is eating pizza.
I just think what you're saying is just so hypocritical to say that you're like downplaying the Eagles like big time.
The game they played
Like
against
who,
the Cardinals
you're
wasn't
making it
impressive.
seem like you're making it seem like they're not a threat at all on offense.
against the
and that
Cardinals,
just
they weren't
because-
really. I mean, they
Yeah,
were,
but the Raiders, who are what? They have one win this season,
yeah, exactly.
had a close game throughout the entire game.
Exactly. And why didn't they go for the extra point? Because they knew the Chiefs would have beat them in overtime.
And this whole thing, too, then. It's
Yeah,
like,
but
why do you have the Ravens so high, though? Because then it's like they're losing. It's just like.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah, but you're just saying the Eagles wasn't as impressive, but you got the Ravens so high, but look what they're doing. They're blowing leads like crazy.
This
so it's
was
like,
going so well for so long.
I'm just laughing. 'cause,
You're
like,
upselling the Chiefs on a decision that one team made,
I'm
whereas
up-
we would have never known.
I'm upselling them on coming back from 17 to 3 and freaking winning the game. Both, and they're having bad calls against them. Freaking,
Oh my gosh, you are insane.
I've been saying for thinking
They
a great
won by
team-
1 point versus a team that has 1 win. Sure, it's a divisional game, but last year they blew them out twice.
What does last year have to do with anything?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you're upselling this team.
Ooh,
like,
Tommy, look, the
so
Saints.
much. Oh my gosh, they're so high up. They're up here. They're up here. They didn't play like it.
They did. They won.
Then where was their defense at? They gave up 29 points. Where was their defense?
Where was
at?
the Eagles defense? They left 17.
That's
Oh,
good.
Oh, that's a ton of points. That's so many points. Let's move on.
Okay.
Where are the freaking people about these teams? Where are they at?
2.
Let's go.
All right.
Same.
What a win for Tommy.
Oh my god.
That was
18
insane.
to 22.
Both of you, I still don't fully
It's just-
understand what you were arguing.
It's
Both
so
of you.
hard to deliver
You
my
guys were
argument.
naming like
I
5
know.
different teams.
That's why I'm laughing because it was like
If any
Colts-
team, if any team is scoring 5 times in a row, the other team's
Exactly.
going to be aggressive.
It's
That's
so
what it is. It's
situational.
like,
All right, Patriots. I don't know.
dang, that's a tough one too.
18,
They got to go
22.
18-20. Oh man, but look how many teams we have
13,
left.
17.
I'm thinking 17.
When are we gonna give them their respect?
And again, this was what, a third string quarterback? And I know
Third-string
it was the Lions, but again, they put up how many points?
A
Dang,
lot.
they're-
29 nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I think they deserve the 17 spot.
Like I said, we got to give them.
they're 2-3 though, so giving them
will be the most disappointing pick of mine of all year. I will never be more disappointed in myself.
Yeah,
than
but
me
they were
picking
putting
the
up so
Lions.
many points though. And I didn't
Yeah,
think
I
they'd be
know.
able to without
Yeah, I
their-
know, but
with
like,
Mac Jones.
but like I said,
I didn't think
I thought I knew about the Patriots, and it was because they had a third string quarterback. But like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
why.
so they're offensively like they got
Where-
it going on.
where were they last week?
18-22.
I think they stay there.
But they just won 29 nothing.
Yeah, but they're 2-3. They, I mean,
Here's the thing,
I-
right? Where are we going to put the Raiders? Because the Raiders have won one game. I know they've been in good situations. I know they've done some decent things, but they can't win. They're not winning.
I mean, the lowest we could put them now is 18-22 at this moment.
Like I think
they should be.
they
there.
need to be.
Yeah, I mean, you got
And that's
Devontae
why-
Adams pushing over the
Yeah.
cameraman, and he's probably going to get suspended a game. I think they said
He-
so.
He pushed over the camera.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
seen
gotta
him
do a
slam
TikTok
his
on it.
helmet,
Yeah.
but I didn't
He
know.
was leaving. He just shoved it.
he tweeted out and he
Oh, he
said
was
he
mad.
apologized. He was frustrated, but
Freaking
yeah,
come
they're
can't
still,
do that.
they're still
You
no.
can't
Oh
do
my
that.
gosh.
It was like a sound guy. Like he
Yeah.
literally did
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Put the Patriots in 18-22. They're 2-3. Dolphins.
Dolphins have to go.
My
Oh my
Lord.
gosh.
This team
Oh,
gave up-
interesting.
They were 4 last week.
Oh, they're not there now.
Well, the highest they're going to be is 18-22, in my opinion. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I agree, but like, I'm just kind of happy.
It's
and
them
surprised.
giving up 40 against the
The
Jets.
Falcons
It's
are still
really
here, and
just
we're about
like-
to have not a spot until 17. This is amazing.
Actually,
But I have a whole argument, so no worry. I've been thinking about it for a while.
you are making me think a little bit, but like, I mean, I am going to give the Falcons some respect, but
I'll argue. Do you want me to argue for the Falcons right now?
Fluff.
I don't. I wasn't going to put them that high, but I
Gosh,
mean,
I kind of forgot about the Falcons.
Think-
I
I think the
do think the
Raiders-
Falcons should be in 18-22 though.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's
they
why I
were
wanted to
23 to
fight.
27 last week.
That's actually
And I'm
like.
not going to fight them being.
Can we actually just put them there because that's like an easy one for me to
Yeah.
rank right now? I think that's a pretty fair ranking for the
Yes.
Falcons.
Okay, good. I didn't even need to argue. So,
The Raiders.
Just curious, like what
what was my argument?
was your argument?
Kyle Pitts was out. Cordero Patterson was out. We literally got robbed that game
Yeah.
with like one
That's
player.
why. That's
The only
why-
one I would not give you is Kyle Pitts because I know you could say he's a decoy, but
Decoy.
man, he has been.
Dang,
You're right.
We
So
didn't even use
disappointing.
that in our argument against his ranking for the Buccaneers either, which we
No,
probably
we should have.
Should have.
We should have.
Now it makes me like, should the Buccaneers be in 10? I
Yeah,
don't
put
know.
the
Whatever,
Falcons
they're
at
fine.
10. We'll put the Buccaneers.
So I think Titans, Cardinals, Browns, Giants. I'll go 13-17.
Here's the thing, though. Browns aren't good, and the Falcons beat the Browns. I thought you would potentially argue to put the Browns over the Falcons, but putting the Browns in 13-17, I don't think is right either.
But they also almost what was it, a field goal that they missed at the
Yeah.
end of the Chargers
Mhm.
game? So
They did.
technically
But
They
who
were
else did
hand
they
in hand
beat?
with the Chargers.
What's their record?
They beat the Steelers. dude.
3. Are they 3-2?
No, not 3-2.
Browns-
They lost to the
Yeah.
Falcons. They
Yeah,
lost to the
2-3.
Chargers. They lost to
The
who
Browns
else?
are 2-3.
They lost to the Jets.
Who else did they beat? Who they beat? Steelers and who else? Do we know?
That's what I'm saying.
I just
They-
don't.
I'm gonna be honest. Like they should have beaten the Chargers.
But they didn't. I
Yeah,
agree.
They did.
I agree, but
They,
that-
they should have beat
that's-
the Jets. You want to talk? That was one of the biggest mess ups they had.
That's a reason why the Chargers are so low, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah, but like how?
Like quote unquote low for what they are expected to do.
Who is
The Browns are the Browns, man. They could have a good roster, but they're still just like
freaking
I don't know.
crazy?
I think the Saints go up on us.
The Saints.
That's kind of what I.
Oh no!
Because Taysom Hill
Come
absolutely
on.
like they needed to fulfill the position of Jameis Winston, and Andy Dalton didn't necessarily do it, but Taysom Hill.
Fulfill Jameis Winston. What did he do this season? It's a blessing that guy's not in right now. That's probably the reason why they even had a shot.
Let me ask you: are they better off without Jameis Winston? Because they
Probably
because
he stayed.
Well,
they won.
You are right. The thing that I liked about they
but
got
the
back
thing
to their
I liked
roots.
about the Saints was their defense, and they look at what they gave up to Seattle.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah, but they-
It was Seattle, which is a bad team, and Taysom Hill has done this before. Taysom Hill is not the answer either. Taysom Hill last year had a really good one game where he was the starting quarterback, and then he fell off
No.
heavy.
Just to be very clear, he's not the answer as a starting quarterback. But
Right.
he is the answer to have a large involvement in that
Yeah.
offense.
I
And
agree.
And it does give them another dimension that other teams don't have.
But we seen last year, again, he did the exact same thing, had a really good game, started, I think, 2 or 3 games after that.
starting
and
is
lost
not the
every one.
answer. That's why
I agree.
I'm
That's
happy
what I
they
wanna
do
make
have
clear.
Andy Dalton there. Yeah,
Dang,
so-
honestly,
okay, wait.
I think
The only
maybe
thing I
even-
liked about the Saints was their defense, and
Yeah.
they're blowing it. They lost to the Panthers.
Well, that's
Yeah,
because
they
the Panthers are so good.
I mean, I just can't.
All right, can we?
I don't
All right,
like
let's
the
make
Saints
this.
at
Let's
all.
try to dummy some teams down real quick. I think Giants in 13-17.
Yeah,
Yes.
good. Put them there.
Okay. I
Titans.
think Titans in 13-17.
Yeah,
They're on a 3-game win streak right now. I'm pretty sure.
I'd say Cardinals as well.
Cardinals in 13-17.
Hey, we still
or-
got 9 and 7 up here.
Yeah, I know. So that means
I would put the bucket.
I think that's why I think the Chargers and Bengals have to get talked about.
I agree. I think the Bengals should be in there. I don't think the Chargers should be talked about.
I like the Chargers more though than
So
the Bengals.
the Bengals did just lose and the Chargers did win.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all situational.
I-
Yeah,
I had-
of course,
I
but-
have both of those teams in my top 10.
I have Chargers.
Who do you have out? The Buccaneers and Packers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Where
like
would
both
you
of
put
those.
the
I'm not gonna
Chargers?
argue that.
Where
would
do
I
you have
put
the Chargers? 10.
Yeah.
Can we get the Bucks out of the top 10, man?
I'm okay with it.
I think you go Bucks up, Chargers also, and then put the Packers.
Oh! What about Kyle Pitts and Cordell Patterson not being there?
yeah.
That's why the Packers are tough because they just
Again, the
lost.
Bucks put
I know.
up 0 points in the second half.
Yeah, but what other teams are we dealing with here? Okay,
Oh my gosh.
I'm just gonna say this right now. I kind of hinted towards it a little bit. Maybe we should give the Titans a little bit more respect.
I
see
can't
that.
put them higher than 13-17.
Do we need to give the Giants a little bit more respect?
I liked it. Oh yeah, last time we got cooked for this. The Giants beat the Titans. We got cooked for having them.
Swapped.
Yeah.
I think
know,
the
but teams beat
Giants
teams.
deserve some respect.
Yeah, I know teams beat teams, but to
I'm
me,
fine.
The Texans beat the
the
Jaguars.
Titans beat the Colts.
I'm
But that's
fine with
not-
putting the Giants at 11 and 12 and moving the Chargers up.
I like Bengals and Chargers better than Buccaneers right now.
I think this is my thing. I know it's gonna be kind of flip flop, but I think the Vikings should get bumped up to 7. I don't-
They are
I-
4-1, and that is a.
I like it.
I would
It's
agree.
a toss
I
up.
like
and
it.
I don't. I'm
Yeah,
gonna make
you
it clear.
can't argue it. It's 4-1.
I
You can't
don't
argue it.
love it, but it's harder.
I
It's
agree.
harder to
I don't love
argue,
it.
so it makes our life easier. This is where, and you guys are probably having flip flop. Even if you even did it, I would have Chargers 8, Bengals 9,
Oh.
Bucks 10.
I have.
What about the Giants and the Titans?
Titans. I do not have in the top 10.
No, I'm
man.
saying, are you bumping them up though? Like who?
Oh man,
I'd go Bucks,
No, I'm gonna keep.
Chargers,
I'm gonna keep the Bucks. at 10.
Packers. Bucks 8, Chargers 9, Packers 10.
This is tough.
Because here's who the Titans have beat, though. The Commanders. And then they beat the Colts. The Raiders was a good one.
Is it though?
But the Commanders and Colts, they whoop. I'm
Yeah, but-
still not high on the Titans.
who have the Giants beat?
The Packers, the Titans.
I'm putting Giants for top 10. I don't care. They're top 10 right now. They are.
They
They've done
beat
more than the Titans have done.
they beat the Packers. They beat the Bears.
Oh, they're frauds.
Let's put the-
man.
They
Oh,
are,
wow,
but
the
they're-
Giants already played the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Giants already.
Let's put the Chargers in the
They
top
beat the
10 at least.
Panthers and they beat the Titans.
Do we put the Chargers at number 9 or at 8?
I
I
want them at 10. If anything.
I like 10. I say move the Bucks
Yeah,
up
I'd be
9,
okay with putting the Chargers back in the top 10.
and then move Bucks
This is
up 9.
what I want. This is what I want. I
don't wanna
want
move the Bucks
Bengals. I want Bengals, Chargers, Giants, in my 9, 8, and 10.
I can't put Giants in the top 10, man. That's
Not-
I could
not
I
over the
could
top.
live
Why
with
would they
Bengals
need to
Chargers.
do?
though.
I
You're
know.
right.
That's just crazy.
This is a situation where I can't
know.
fault them for what they're doing.
I know.
Like, at what point are we going to give them some respect? That we talked about, okay,
think
beating
we're
the
gonna-
Packers is what they
let me
needed to
say
do, and they
this.
did
I
it.
think, truthfully, having them in 11 to 12 is way more than enough respect.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
where they would
But
have
where-
worse end up.
I know it would be tough, and I think any of these teams could be any of these teams because obviously we've seen that. But I don't know. Right now, the Buccaneers look bad, in my opinion, and the Giants look good.
I can't.
I think it's a toss-up if they would play who would win, and I think I would actually pick the Buccaneers over them. But again, that doesn't happen. That didn't happen, and the Giants are winning.
We all have the Chargers at 10, right?
No, I have them at 8.
Like, do they not have the exact same record as the Cowboys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they have the same record as the Bills and the Chiefs too, and
Exactly.
the Vikings. It's
I'm
like,
just saying, like, that's not
What
an
is the
easy feat to
Buccaneers
do.
record?
they're 3-2.
3-2.
I think it should go. Man, I think
Oh,
a consensus would be like.
okay, can I ask
I don't
you
even
guys-
like the
Can
Giants.
I ask? Can we just run around the table real quick?
Yeah.
Chargers or Bengals?
Bengals.
Chargers.
I have Chargers.
I'll take Chargers.
Okay. So with that said,
I think
Okay.
the Chargers are too banged up, and again, they've been disappointing too much. Obviously, the Bengals have been
I'm not saying
disappointing.
I'm just not high on the Bengals.
would it be crazy to just do Chargers 8, Bengals 9, Bucks 10, Giants in 11 to 12?
And the Packers in
They
11
have
also?
they have their big game versus the Cowboys. If they could beat the Cowboys, that would be more than enough to put them in the top.
We're
10.
forgetting the Packers too, though.
I was gonna say, where are you going
Who's
with the
playing
Packers?
now? Well, the
Yeah, the Giants and oh no,
No, they've already
no.
they already
No.
played the Cowboys are playing the
That's
Eagles this
right.
week.
I thought they were. Oh dang.
Where do you have the Packers?
11 to 12. I mean, again, what have they done? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I mean, they just lost to the Giants.
All right, let's do it. Let's look at it and see what it looks like.
So let's see what we had that.
Yeah.
And then Giants and Packers in 11 and 12.
Man, I would kind of argue the Titans deserve to be swapped out for the Packers.
Fair argument. Fair argument.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no.
I don't love either of the teams,
Why
but
are the Bucks in the top 10?
that's what I'm saying.
But who's
Actually,
Giants.
Actually, you guys don't
you
like
tell
the
me
Bucks
who's
that
there
much.
in place of them. No, I'm not. I think they should be at 10. I think they should be at 10.
I
They
think
have been
I
so
think it should be an
disappointing.
8.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the issue. Who is in front of
yeah,
them?
I know.
Like,
So who are we
Oh,
putting?
gosh.
How many more spots do we have to fill?
3.
I think those.
Is it
three-
11 to-
I think
okay.
those 3 slide in
Well, they can only go
fairly
there.
nicely.
They can
They're
only go
fine.
there.
So Cardinals and Browns have to go 13-17, and then I think the Dolphins go 18-22, and we bump either the Saints or the Raiders up.
We cannot bump the Raiders up.
Okay, hold on.
I don't.
Is
I
this-
think that's
is
good.
we cannot have a massive overreaction on
Yeah.
the Dolphins.
I
They've
agree.
had their one bad game that was terrible, but
And
they
again,
had a third string rookie
string.
quarterback in.
No, but that's the thing. Next week,
Yes,
who are
I
they
know,
gonna
but
have?
Gave up
Bro,
40.
we had them at number 4
I
last
know.
week.
I know.
But that's
Like,
because
just
they're.
because of one game,
agree.
we can't
But
just like.
one guy does change a whole lot for them. They lost not only
Yeah, but
Tua
is
but
Tua
Teddy
even
out as
that
well.
good?
How long is Teddy out?
He'll be back. He could have came back that game,
I was
but
gonna say.
because of the concussion stuff that's been going on, they kept him out.
I like putting those 3 in. What is it? 13 to 17.
As do I. I think it
Sure.
actually works out very well.
Let's do that.
I don't think we have to overcomplicate things
Why
here.
not? Sick. Oh,
Nope.
Again, Browns competed with the Chargers well.
I
They've-
don't like the Browns there.
I don't care for it
I-
either. But
I mean,
Really,
like,
I think that's a pretty good spot for the
It's not
Browns.
terrible. It is tough because the Falcons beat them, but
I think they would could lose to any of those teams that are in the tier right below them. And I mean,
Yeah.
vice versa.
I,
I mean,
that
I
goes
think
for a lot of these teams in this. In
Yeah.
these two
Dude, I would say
categories.
that for all those
Yeah.
teams, honestly. And I think that's where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right in the middle of the pack. Even if you want to have them at 17, that's a below half team.
All right, well,
I'm happy with this. The Falcons are
here's
where I
our
want
list. Way to go, Steelers.
Yeah, they made our lives easier, though.
Yeah.
Slop them right down, slop 'em right down in there. Ladies
All right.
and gentlemen, that was our tier list for today. Please subscribe. Check out the Discord if you want to. And we will see you very shortly.
Check
Another
out the
video.
new subscribe button. Whenever you subscribe, it does something crazy. Go ahead and check it out.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll see you next
That's
one.
pretty sick.
That is sick.